Today we're going to be solving quadratic equations by factoring. So we're going to remember the zero product rule. Anything multiplied by 0 equals 0. So 5 times 0 equals 0. X times 0 equals 0. If I have 2x equals 0, to solve that I would divide by 2 and get that x equals 0. So if I have xy equals 0, then this means either x equals 0 or y equals 0. One of them equals 0 or both. So the zero product rule is if a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 or b equals 0. So we can find the solutions of a quadratic equation by factoring using the zero product rule. So let's follow these steps. Make sure that the quadratic equation is equal to 0 before you start factoring. Now we're going to factor the left side completely. So I have a trinomial. I'm going to set up my x puzzle. A is 1. B is negative 12, and C is negative 64. So if I'm going to multiply 1 times negative 64, negative 64 is what's going to go on the top of my puzzle, and then B is what goes on the bottom, negative 12. So I need to find the factors that multiply to negative 64 and add to negative 12. So that would be 4 and negative 16. So let's split, and I know you can do the shortcut in this one, but we're going to go ahead and fully factor it in case some people forgot how to do that. So x squared plus 4x minus 16x minus 64 equals 0. So this is exactly what we did when we were factoring, except now there's an equals 0 on the end of it. So let's factor by grouping. You can factor out x. And I get x plus 4. Now remember that you can divide this number by this number. Negative 64 divided by 4 is negative 16. This gives me x plus 4 again. Oops. Equals 0. So fully factored, I have x plus 4 times x minus 16 equals 0. So my two factors are x plus 4 and x minus 16. So one of them equals 0. So what I'm going to do is solve for each factor equaling 0. So x plus 4 equals 0 and x minus 16 equals 0. So I would subtract 4 and x equals negative 4. And on this side I would add 16 and x equals 16. So my solutions are negative 4 and 16. Let's do some more examples. Oops. Okay, so here I have a quadratic equation that doesn't have a c, or c is equal to 0. We only have a and, what color did I use? B. But c is 0. When I have ax squared plus bx, I can just factor by GCF. So my GCF is going to be 6x, because 6 is the greatest common factor for 6 and 12, and the lower exponent would be x. So when I factor that out, I get x minus 2. So 6x times x minus 2 equals 0. So this is fully factored, and now I set each factor equal to 0. 6x equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. So x would equal 0, and x equals 2. Number three, we're not really going to solve by factoring. We're going to solve by the square root method. So this is more of a review from yesterday, but we'll just add 8. Divide by 2. And then I can take the square root, and n equals positive and negative 2. Okay, here's another trinomial. So we will use the AC method. Because a is equal to 1, we'll use the shortcut this time. So my x puzzle has 21 on the top and negative 10 on the bottom. My factors would have to be negative 3 and negative 7. Because a is equal to 1, my middle term has x, so my answer is x minus 3, or my factored form is x minus 3 times x minus 7 equals 0. I still have to solve for each factor. So x equals 3, and x equals 7. Okay, this one we'll have to fully factor because a is not equal to 1. So 4 times 9 is 36, and 12 is b. So my factors for this would be six and 6. That took me a minute. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my trinomial into a 4-term polynomial. 4x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. So greatest common factor is 2x. Now I have 2x plus 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So plus 3, 2x plus 3 equals 0. So fully factored, this is 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So the factors are the same. So I'm just going to solve it once. 2x plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3. 2x equals negative 3. Divide by 2. and x equals, I'll leave it in fraction form, negative 3 over 2. So this quadratic only has one solution. Number 6. We have negative 10 on the top and 9 on the bottom. So let's see, I'll have 10 and negative 1. So 2x squared plus 10x minus 1x minus 5 equals 0. GCF is 2x x plus 5. Negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. X plus 5. So my factored quadratic is x plus 5 times 2x minus 1 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0, and 2x minus 1 equals 0. Oops. Minus 5. So x equals negative 5, and x equals 1/2. Okay, last example. This one has larger numbers than we've been dealing with. So the first thing I'm going to do is check for a greatest common factor. And I know that I can factor out 4. So 4x squared plus 5x minus 21 equals 0. So now I'll set up my x puzzle. 4 times negative 21 is negative 84. And we have 5 on the bottom. So my solution to this x puzzle would be 12 and negative 7. So I'll split my trinomial, split the middle term, and factor by grouping. Let's see, greatest common factor is 4x. X plus 3. Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. X plus 3. So fully factored is 4 times x plus 3 times 4x minus 7. All right, so I actually have 4 factors in this one. So I have 4 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, and 4x minus 7 equals 0. So right away I know that 4 does not equal 0. So that's not going to be one of the solutions. Here I can subtract 3. X equals negative 3. And then divide by 4. So x equals 7 over 4. negative 3 and 7 over 4. This is what you'll be practicing today.